Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday and welcome to Mystical Awakenings.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, we are live here on KGRA, Deb and Arjay. And, we're really excited about our guest tonight. She moved me. I'm not going to say a whole lot more than that right now, but we're really excited about her, and Arjay is going to tell you all about it.
So, come join us tonight for a wonderful and informative conversation with Nancy McLaughlin, a lifelong experiencer in the phenomena of UFOs. Her bio is like this. She wrote a book under her maiden name and changed the names of the people to protect their privacy. At 66 years old, she was born and raised in rural mid-Michigan. Her father worked in a drop forge. And I don't know what that is. I'll have to ask her what that is. I don't know what drop forge is. And her mother was a nurse. She was a third-generation artist and has done art for magazines, advertising, and shops. This is her first book, and I also. She has 4 children, and none of them are artists. So it's going to run the family. We got to get somebody drawn there or something. Now that she wrote one book, she's decided to take some writing classes and plans to write more, but they will probably be fiction. She's also working on the art for a deck of cards to facilitate communication with whatever is out there, be it spirits or aliens. And she has. She remembered her experience at age 4 in Lansing, Michigan, where she lived for a year. And that's just south of us here. Her first known abduction was with her cousin in Carson City, Michigan, at the age of 6 or 7. After her family kept telling her to write it down, I finally started making a list of experiences, and the list turned out to be a lot longer than I thought it would be. I then realized that I needed to try hypnosis to better remember the facts. That's when things took a dramatic turn, and she realized her experiences were even stranger than she had remembered. Welcome, Nancy McLaughlin.
Hello.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi.
Thank you for being here with us.
Well, I think it'll be fun.
I think so, too. You have a lifelong history with aliens. We'll just throw it out there like that. And it's your story is so moving. You were one of our first regress people that was on the Voices of Contact, and thank you for that. The reason we wanted to use that story is because it helps so many other experiencers. So bless you for that.
Well, listening to other people's regressions has helped me too, because it validates things. Because when you hear somebody else you've never met has the same completely wacky experience, that, how could somebody make that up?
Right.
And you're like, oh, it's not just me.
Well, and that's the interesting thing that we've learned as a panel member on the show, that we've done over 106 shows, and all the patterns, like you said, people experiencing the same thing that don't know each other. And that gives it validation. Because like you said, you can't make this stuff up. Right. And everybody doesn't have the same story, but yet they're experiencing the same things.
Yeah. And part of the reason I didn't talk about it for a really long time was because so many of the things that happen along with experiencer life, they were just so weird. I thought they were something else, that I was mentally ill, or, so I didn't know that they were connected. And it wasn't until really maybe the last 5 years that other people started to put it together too, owls, dogman, paranormal experiences, and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, that goes along with it. It's not a separate thing. Yeah.
That's a good thing you brought it, because we've always believed it's all connected, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
everything, all that's connected, all the paranormal is connected in one way or another. And
I do now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think the aliens are what I thought they were 30 years ago.
Right. Right.
Well,
They're not little green men.
the little gray man. So, back in the day when the ghost hunters started out, and the UFO people and the cryptid, they all, were not on the same page. Trust me. And,
Yeah, it was in a different box,
Right.
and
right.
it was a big relief to me when I found out, all those boxes run into each other. And
Yeah, they're connected for
Right,
sure.
Right. Well, they're all beyond our third dimensional vision. So, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the generational part of this, Nancy, how many people in your family have had contact or experiences?
well, let me see. My grandfather, when he lived in Saskatchewan, Canada, around the turn of the century, they watched a cigar-shaped UFO there for, he said, all day over some small town, Esteban. I'm not sure. But I can't find a record of it, but that's what he told me happened. And my mom had a lot of experiences. She didn't remember any abductions. She had a lot of experiences with owls and a lot of a giant green ball that went across one night when she was a kid by the Grand River, things like that.
Wow.
And me and my kids and my grandson and my cousin, actually more than one cousin. One of them was with me during several of my experiences. The one who was a remote viewer was quite a bit older than me, and I didn't really know him as when we were kids. I didn't know him until later in life.
And this is another thing that we found that's common with all of our people that have been on the show, and that it runs in the family.
Yeah. Have you seen this scientist named Gary Nolan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been looking into that, why that might be.
Right. I mean, so that's another common theme that a lot of people talk about. That's right. So, can we go back and perhaps maybe start at the beginning, and can you tell us how this all began?
How my life began, or how writing this book began?
Start for making contact.
Your first
memory. The first contact that I had a memory of was when I was 6 years old. I was with my cousin. We're only a month apart in age, and we were behind my grandmother's house in Carson City in a field where we used to go and play all the time. And this day we come into this field, and we could see a large silver object. And the first thing I thought was that it was this piece of metal that was in one of the tree line from a tornado.
Right.
And then I thought, well, no, it's not that. Well, that's kind of interesting. Let's go see what it is, and we didn't have any fear of it. We didn't know what it was. We'd never seen anything in 1965. So we just ran at it. And that's what I remembered, was we ran at it, and then it shot up in a zigzag and was gone. And we ran back to the house and, screamed and yelled until somebody finally believed us. And my mom went out there, and she found a burnt spot in the field and some coffee can size holes around this burnt spot. Huh. And that was my memory. That was all there was to it, except that then at work, she found out that somebody outside of town, that they had an experience too around the same time that they were somebody was home with all of her kids, and it started sounding like all the if I remember right, she said it sounded like all the shingles on the roof were slapping, and the kids were looking out the window and saying there was a UFO out there. There's a flying saucer covered with colored lights, and the woman wouldn't look because she was afraid. And and that's all I knew is I had this experience. My cousin was with me. He remembered the same thing I remembered. Mm-hmm. So that was where it started. And it was many years before, between the time I was 6, it was maybe until I was right before I started to have children, that I started to realize that, oh, you know what? There's things happening, and maybe they've been happening right along. And because I wasn't that interested in it, other than that it was an odd thing from my childhood. Right. And then things got really strange. Right before I had children, I started to get weird phone calls and waking up in the road, watching lights, dreaming about being on a golf course with a whole bunch of people in suspended animation and waking up with my bed full of grass. It was just craziness. And then I got pregnant, and while I was pregnant, I got weird phone calls that were like every couple of weeks. I got a call that was like machinery running and something like almost a mechanical voice groaning, like. And I felt like it was saying something, but I couldn't understand what. And they really upset me, these phone calls, even though I didn't know what they were. And of course, there was no internet or cell phones or anything back then. And this phone company couldn't answer my question about where these calls were coming from. They weren't even on my bill as coming into my house.
Wow.
Jeez. No, I think.
Go ahead.
I think Deb Cobble had. I don't remember if it was while she was pregnant, but it seems like it was around that time. But I remember her talking about that. It might even be in her book.
I was so freaked out when I read her book because we're the same age. We have 2 children. And there's a lot of things that aren't similar, but that was one of the ones that was.
Yeah, so you talked about that. Huh?
The phone thing. Yeah, I remember that.
And my daughter had it happen to her.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Huh?
Yeah. And then I had children, and I had an experience where I saw an orb in the backyard. I was hanging up laundry, and I saw this thing that looked like a ball of mercury about this big. And we lived in a really small town. I'm not sure I can explain how small it was. I think it was like 3 blocks wide, 5 blocks long. That was the whole town. And this ball was going along the trees on my property line and following the contour of the trees, in a very straight line down the property line, and it's like, what the heck is that? Because it was like swirling inside. And it obviously wasn't a balloon. And I felt like it was looking at me, even though it's just a ball. I felt like it was looking at me.
Right.
And, I had a lot of just off the wall things like that happened that I felt like they meant something, but I didn't know what they meant. And I didn't remember enough to understand what it all meant until I decided to write this book. And I wanted to remember the things more clearly. So I went and got hypnotized thinking I'll just remember the day more clearly, not knowing I would remember a completely different story.
Right.
And I think I said this last week, but after the first hypnosis, I was just flabbergasted. And I kept saying, I'm so freaked out. I'm so freaked out. And I left Mary's house and I drove into Nashville and I went to a dollar store to get something to drink. And I looked at the lady and I said, I'm so freaked out. I was just, she's like, what is wrong with you? But I was just, for a week, I was like that.
Right.
I just couldn't believe it.
How long ago was your regression?
2 years ago.
2 years
first
ago.
one.
Okay. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
fancy
that was,
cup.
again, that was one of our very first on the show. So yeah, it was a few
I sort of
years
got
ago.
off the track there. Is there something in there you wanted to know?
Well, no, I just want to know when it started and then how it progressed. How
Yeah,
it progressed
it
throughout
just
the years.
there's actually was an experience before that I almost didn't put in the book because I felt so weird about it. But I think it's connected to the same thing. I just don't know what it means. And when my brother and I were, I was maybe 4, but I remember this so clearly. We were on a pile of dirt in our backyard, and this was the year that we lived in Lansing, and that was the only time we lived in the city. And we were playing on this pile of dirt. And all of a sudden, he started screaming something about a helicopter and slapped his hand over my eyes. And but before he could slap his hand over my eyes, I seen this helicopter, black helicopter, flip upside down, and people started falling out of it. And then he slapped his hand across my eyes and wouldn't let me look. And he said they went through the blades and got all chopped up, and he was hysterical. He's 7 years older than me. And my mom remembered it, and my dad remembered that we said it happened while he was at work, but I don't think it really happened. There's no record of it. I mean, and if a helicopter flipped upside down in Lansing and a bunch of people got chopped up, there'd be a record of it.
Though, I mean, on the flip side of that, since it was in Lansing, the capital of Michigan, maybe there's been a lot of black helicopters flying around that area. So.
I've had black helicopters all my life.
Right.
Well, not always all the time, just at different times.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
totally
looking back at that, I think it was one of these things that they've done periodically throughout not just my life, but a lot of people's lives, where they make you see some really weird thing. And I don't know what the agenda is. I don't know if they're trying to upset you so they can monitor how you react, or it's some kind of training. I don't know, but anyways, I feel like this fell in that same category. And that really was the first thing I remember. I just didn't remember it as anything other than a true crash when I was a kid.
But you put that in the book though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I almost didn't. I was embarrassed about putting it in there because it's so weird, but
sometimes do you
go ahead. I was just going to say, a lot of times I thought about not putting something in it because it was just so strange. And I thought somebody out there is like me and they're going to read it and they're going to go, oh, thank God somebody else had this really weird thing happen. So I'm going to leave it in.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, I grew up in Rochester and I had the black helicopter experiences as well. But I've wondered many times, do they do weird things to us to make us maybe think we're crazy?
Yeah.
Or to keep us quiet? Because
that's just it. It's like,
how
I don't know
talk about that?
Is there an actual purpose to why they're doing this, or are they just messing with us or trying to control us? I think that telling people, oh, I've had it done to me. You're special, and we're training you, and you're going to remember this stuff someday.
Right.
I think that's just, they do that as control.
Yeah.
They're manipulating you.
Right. And I don't know if it's as common nowadays. You and I are only like a year apart. So, the same time era. So I don't know if that's something we need to really look into. Are they still doing stuff like that?
Yeah.
Mess with people's minds? I don't know, but I know
think they are.
Yeah. My black helicopter weird stuff started when I was about 12. So.
Yep. I would have, any time that I started looking into it, I would start having, my phone would start acting up. I'd start having stuff happen on my phone, and I'd talk to the phone company, and they'd say, well, it sounds like your phone is tapped, but we don't, we can't talk to you about it. And I would start seeing helicopters and strange people. Just weird things would happen. Twice we had a ball of, it was ball lightning on a bright sunny day, not during a storm, come in the window and roll around the room.
Yeah, that's not ball lightning.
Yeah, that was my explanation for it at the time was, well, this is ball lightning because that was in the 80s. Yeah. So, that was the only thing I could think of that I could be. I was so disturbed by it that I actually took the window out.
Oh, wow.
And put a fireplace, one of those, fireplaces you can put in your house. You don't have to build any masonry. You just close it and make it look like a fireplace. And I closed the window and put that there and went, there. Now nothing can come in that window again. And I found that I did that a lot of times with things, but I didn't know why I was doing it. Like when I was a kid, I was always getting behind furniture. I would squeeze between the couch and the wall to sleep. And I didn't feel okay until I got in there, or I would get in the back of a closet and pile stuff around me. And, and nobody was beating me or anything. So I couldn't understand it. But I think now I understand it. It was just, I didn't know what was going on consciously, but something was going on.
So you said now, since your regressions, you found out a lot more that was going on now.
Oh, yeah.
The
day that my cousin and I saw the UFO, that wasn't the whole story. We see the UFO, we run at the UFO, and then I have that doorway amnesia thing where you don't know how you got from out in the field to in the UFO, but now I'm in the UFO. Right. And I'm sitting on a silver table, and there's a big gray, and I know there's one to my side. I know there's one there, but I can't see it, but I can kind of see it out of my peripheral vision, and I know it's there. And I know my cousin is standing beside me, but he's in that suspended animation thing where you don't move. And so I'm sitting on this silver table, and there's a petri dish with a blonde curl in it. And I know it's a piece of his hair. And that they're particularly excited because we're first cousins, and they got a hold of first cousins, and they can, whatever genetic thing they're testing, it's like today is their birthday because they got something they can. And I don't like them. I'm not afraid of them, but I don't like them. And there's a picture of me in the book. They pulled my shorts leg out and let go and did it several times and then looked at each other like, what the heck is this? I felt, they don't show much expression, but I felt like they thought it was funny for some reason. Like, oh, look at them. They made stretchy stuff. And I just really didn't like them. I thought they were real jerks. And but it wasn't really because I don't ever remember now I do, but consciously I didn't remember ever being afraid of them. I realize now I must have been because I developed these weird phobias. Like after that, I was afraid of the fuel oil tank because it looked like a UFO to me, I think, and stuff like that. But so I'm sitting there and they're looking at my shorts and they scraped my arm. And I asked, why are they scraping my arm? And they said, because we're going to make another little girl. And I didn't like that. That really upset me for some reason. And during hypnosis session, I got really upset about that.
I remember that from the regression, and
it surprised me when I listened to it that I was so upset because when I think about it, it doesn't upset me, but I don't remember the regressions very well. Right. So they scraped my arm and they touched me with this light on a stick, and they looked at me, and then I'm outside. And I don't remember getting outside, and I don't remember whether they examined my cousin or not. Right. But I got this message like in my head that we had to run because it was dangerous to be there when the thing took off. So we ran, and I did remember running back to my grandma's house consciously before this, and that was the first time. I think it was the same year, or it was very close to it. I was at the farm where this cousin that was with me during the abduction, where his family lived, and him and I and his younger sister were in a barn playing, and that this guy, his sister was in the door sitting in a wagon facing me, and I was back in the barn. So she couldn't see the corn, but I could because she had her back to it. And he had kicked her and then took off someplace. And so she was crying. And I'm watching her and thinking, should I go up to the house or something? And this guy just oozes out of the corn, this pale, he was kind of like a gray, but a little more human than that, and very white, and wearing like black from under his chin all the way down. And when I was a kid, he was wearing a turtleneck. That's what I thought. He's wearing a turtleneck and he's wearing big sunglasses.
How tall was it? How tall was he? About 3.5, 4?
It's hard to judge because I was 6. Yeah. I'm going to guess about the size of a 13-year-old.
That sounds like an even, yeah.
And I didn't know until actually when I went to the thing with Bill about white ones.
Yep.
Somebody said something to me about that because I don't even know I still don't know what they are. But anyways, he looked like that. He's just sort of, he came out of the corn without making the corn rustle or anything. And it's like, oh, he don't look like a good guy. And he's just sort of gliding towards my cousin, and he's going to take her. Oh no, he's going to take her. And I'm like panicking because I don't know what to do. And I must have made a noise, and he looked up and seen me, and he was mad. That one was the scariest one that I remember because he was not good, whatever he was doing. And he just sort of, he slid back silently and just blended in with the corn the same way he came out without making any sound. And and of course I took her and I went to the house and I told my mom and my aunt, and they didn't believe me. And but so that those two things happened in the same year, so I don't know if they're connected. I was with my cousins again, but it didn't seem interested in me, only her.
Now, does your cousin remember any of this, or was
No.
regressed? No,
she was too young, and she never seen it because her back was to him.
Oh, I mean the one that they took the locket of hair, that same.
Yes,
okay.
He remembered. He's gone. He died a couple of years ago, but yes, he did remember.
Sorry. Okay.
He didn't remember any of the abduction stuff, but he remembered going in the field, seeing the disc, and seeing it take off.
Okay,
like we both remembered that.
Right.
Nice.
And it's more common than not for people to remember seeing something, but they don't remember being taken or anything that happened during that time. So
he had his own odd stuff happen to him, and I mean, he was a lot more closed mouthed than I was, so I don't know about a lot of it. But he lived in the Pacific Northwest, and he had a Bigfoot encounter when he was elk hunting.
Interesting. And that's something we hear a lot of as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure. So let me ask you, Nancy, what do you feel that there's a reason why they've contacted you and have been contacting you? I mean,
I don't think it's because I'm special or something. I think it's because I'm capable of getting the message. I'm capable of hearing them and seeing them. I don't think everybody, I'm not sure if it's because they just don't want to, or there's some difference that not everybody sees them and hears them. I'm not explaining it very well, But
No,
I
that
think
makes sense.
I think that would be the only thing, other than
Mhm.
just we weren't watched very closely as kids. It would have been really easy to get one or all of us, and all the time. So there was probably, maybe it was just because we were easy to find alone out in the field. And
Right.
once they start with one of you, they follow you. Or maybe it was I don't know. I really don't know.
Right. And, have you ever thought maybe they contact you because that's part of your mission is to have these experiences and then talk about it?
Yes.
Because this
The
is
short answer is yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is the time that this is supposed to be happening. I
Mhm.
think disclosure is right on track, and it is happening exactly the way it's supposed to happen.
I thought so many
Experiencers-
times
Yeah.
about getting hypnotized. Oh my God, I can't say the word.
Hypnotized.
There you go. And I lived out in the sticks, so it was hard to find somebody to do it. And every time I thought about it, I started having bad experiences. We want to make sure you don't do this, so we're going to scare you. So I would, and then I wouldn't think about it again for 10 years. And then finally, this time, I felt like it's time. It's time to do it. You can't scare me anymore. And for some reason, I need to do it. So I need to write it down.
Well, and we appreciate that. That helps a lot of people, trust me.
Right. It's so important that experiencers do talk about it. Because,
it'd be really
there's
nice
parts-
to know that somebody's mind was eased by it, that it did some good.
Right.
Because I'm, I've always really hated being called a liar, and I've always tried to be really careful not to lie. And it's just a personal issue of mine. So the idea that I knew when I wrote the book that was going to happen, it's going to happen. People are going to think you lied or you are crazy, maybe I am, but that stopped me for a long time. But I'm like, I'm 66 years old. Who cares if you think I'm a liar?
Right. Well, I mean, now millions and millions of people are coming out with the same story. So
Right.
Can't ignore it.
Yeah.
And
And
again, I think it's supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
So
I do too. And I could tell you why.
Please do.
I think that they know that people in the world, military people or just rich people, I'm not sure who they are, but those people out there, that you always hear about that run the world,
Right,
and that that they are going to try to take the UFO phenomena and turn it into a threat.
So they can keep us under control.
A reason to militarize against them.
Right.
And and they don't want that to happen. And it's ludicrous. I mean, if they wanted to do something to us, they could have wiped us out a long time ago. They're no threat to us. They're not nice, and I don't like them. But I don't think that they're trying to,
Take
kill
us over. Right. So, I mean, that's Project Bluebeam. I think they call that. They're going to throw all this stuff up in the sky and we're going to think we're getting invaded, and so they're going to put us into martial law. And
right.
That story's been out there. So I don't think it's going to work because I think people are too smart for that. For one thing.
And I don't know if they can time travel or they're just good at guessing what people are going to do, but I think they saw this coming a long time ago and started, I think maybe when they were appearing to people 100 years ago, it was the same agenda. It's like, we're trying to prevent this from happening, and someplace along the line, it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know why I think that really. I just think that that's what they're doing. I think that when people feel like there's something I heard and I'm going to remember it later, but I don't know what it is. I think that's what it is. It's remembering to not believe the story that they're out to get us. I don't think they're necessarily our best friends, but I don't think that they're. I mean, obviously, if they were out to get us, they could have got us a really long time ago.
Yeah. Well, I think, my feelings are that we are very connected, but we're in different dimensions. So the whole time thing, Nancy, to me is, they don't have a timeline because they're not in the third dimension.
Right.
So they can see and work in our timeline ahead of our time.
Right.
I know what I mean.
For most of my life, I saw them as a nuts and bolts physical thing that I couldn't explain. I couldn't explain how they did the things they did, and I couldn't explain, most of the things associated with them. And then one day, I learned about, they're coming in from another dimension. That solves a whole lot of problems. And, they don't have to figure out how to move faster than light to get here. And they don't, and now that's what I think. I think they're from another dimension, and I don't know if they're corporeal like we are or not, or,
well, there's a lot of resources and information out there that yes, they can time travel. What does that mean? Can they zip in on the timelines wherever they want to, when and wherever they want to? Well, I think so. And they're so yeah. What exactly time travel it is, I don't claim to know that, but they must have the ability to zip in and out of places, what we call different times, but like you said, there is no time, and they're supposed to be six density or six dimensional beings.
The thing that chased my car, that looked like a real machine. And I always believed it was a real machine of some kind chasing my car, but now I look back on it and I think about a lot of those things and think, well, did they really happen? Or did they just make me think they happened? But under hypnosis, I remembered just like with the disc we saw when I was a kid, what I thought was just a car chase and missing time. My whole car was taken up into a ship. And it's weird because I don't remember what I say under hypnosis unless I listen to the tape or the recording. But I start remembering things that weren't in the hypnosis. That, like, one day I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I see myself lying like this on the the bench seat in the front of my old 70s car. Right. And there's really bright light is shining in the left side. And I can feel the car like get off kilter and everything in it starts to float. And I'm watching these little pebbles floating up from the floor. And that's all there is to that memory. Later, I was on a ship again, but I didn't remember that under hypnosis, and I didn't remember it consciously. But after I had hypnosis, I started remembering things.
It kind of opens that door to that part of the memory that has been locked away. And it's been said that, they're excellent at erasing memory. So
Yeah, I have an experience that I had with a whole carload of teenage girls, and I'm the only one that remembers it. That's the kind of thing that always made me think I've got to be losing my mind. I mean, I'm the only one that remembers this.
I don't think that's uncommon. I really don't.
Well, it sounds like your experience. Yeah, took the whole car.
Right.
You got taken in your whole car?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, brought back in my driveway. I was driving home, but I wasn't home when I had the experience. But I ended up at home with an hour and 9 minutes missing.
And the car had extra radiation on it too.
Interior lights didn't turn off till the next day. I mean, it was.
Did you ever find out what happened? What during the missing time?
Little bits. I've yet to really be regressed. Mary and I have talked about it many times, but
I was always really afraid of it until she
Mhm.
did it, and I kept thinking that first time, this isn't going to work. I'm not going to remember anything. And then I listened to the recording afterwards, and I'm like, where did that come from?
Right. Yeah. Well, I can tell you, Nancy, that after my experience, MUFON came and investigated and talked to us. And one of the things that the investigator said to me was, Deb, just be careful, because what you remember might be a lot worse than what you don't remember. You might be sorry. And so that has stopped me cold.
That's what always stopped me.
I had some memory.
I was afraid that I would remember. I was afraid I would remember that I was covering for child abuse. That it's something, because I did have some child abuse as a child. So I was afraid that there was something really worse that I wasn't remembering. And I was just making myself think it was aliens or spaceships or something, so that I wouldn't. And so that's what kept me afraid of remembering, was I was afraid that there was some awful secret. And well, there was a secret, but it was.
But that wasn't the case, right?
No.
Yeah.
So, is it okay if I ask you, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to? You can say, I don't want to answer. Are you happy do you feel like you've been able to progress since being regressed? Or do you kind of wish you had?
Yeah, you know how have you ever heard like Jim Peniston talk about how he wrote down all the zeros and ones and then it stopped bothering him? It's a lot like that. I wrote the book and now it's like, I still occasionally get up and go downstairs and get the dogs to sit with me on the couch, because I wake up from a nightmare and I think they're going to touch me. And I don't want them touching me, sneaking up on me when I'm asleep and touching me. But other than that, it doesn't bother me nearly as much as it used to. It changed.
Once you realize,
better.
Yeah. Once you realize that they can come and do it wherever they want, when they want, when you're by yourself, you're thinking, well, I mean, it's a little frightening for sure, But
no, it's very frightening.
Okay.
Let's be real.
I was just trying to be a little friendly. So I mean, I have friends that have had experiences, well-known friends that. Same thing, when they're by themselves, they keep lights on.
Yeah. That happens a couple of times a year. I have where it used to be a lot more often than that. Maybe 5-6 times a year. I get up and have to go turn the lights on and sit with the dogs, or have the dogs laying on me so I can sleep.
And you found out more information, so you're even more convinced that it happened. So so you have to deal with it differently now. That, oh my gosh, this is a real thing.
Well, I was always sure about that first ship that I saw. I saw it. I wasn't alone, and there was traces of it. So I never doubted that I saw one. But all the things that came afterwards are, really had me. You read the book?
We have not read the book.
No, we have not had the book. I was just going to ask you.
Okay.
Where
there's a scene in there when I was 9 years old. My mom was going to school to be a nurse and working, and so I was basically raising myself. And we were renting this old farmhouse out in the country. This was Carson City too. And one night while I'm watching TV, I start hearing this weird buzzing noise that scares me. And the TV screen starts messing up. And I still don't like that buzzing sound. And I still hear it sometimes. So I turned the TV off and it came back on. So I plugged and this was way before they had TVs that could do this. This was, 60s. And so I unplugged the TV and it came back on. And then I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I'm so scared because I'm home alone out in the country. So I back up and I sit in this chair that's pushed against the front door of the house. And I hear there's a door in the hallway that goes into the basement, and I can see it, and it starts to open. And I'm like, oh my God, they're going to come in that door. So I run and I got a kitchen chair, and I ran and I stuck it in the hall so they couldn't open the door. I didn't know what was opening the door, but I didn't want it to open the door. So now the door opens and it just keeps slamming into that chair. Slam, slam, slam. And it's like a scene out of a horror movie. And I'm all alone. The TV is screaming. This door is slamming into this chair over and over again. And I'm like, what do I do? And all of a sudden my chair starts sliding across the floor because the door behind my chair is now pushing my chair across the floor.
Oh my gosh.
So I counted to 3 and I ran out the back door of the house because I felt better outside than in the house, and what I always remembered was that I ran down the road and down past the cornfields to my aunt's house, and I went in and I slept on the floor. But in regression, I think they were just trying to scare me out of the house for some reason, because when I came out of the house, a bright light hit me. I can see it hitting the corn, lighting it up.
And did they take you then?
Yeah. Yep. They took me. And I think that's when I saw a mantis. And I wasn't scared of it. I felt confused. I don't remember being really afraid of it. In fact, I felt like it was a female, and I liked it better than the grays. I never liked the big grays. The little grays I felt sorry for. The big grays I don't like. And so, but this, even though it was so ugly, didn't seem threatening to me. And I can see it by my feet. I don't know what it's doing, but it's down by my feet, and I'm laying on a bed, and it's got those long, skinny arms, and they don't really look like a mantis. Their head is more like a heart with, they don't have big eyes on the side. They have eyes like this. And
but insectoid, insect-like anyway, right? Yeah.
The body.
Yeah, the body.
Yeah. And I got a really close look at the eye, and inside that big eye, it was like maroon folds like this, like just folded and folded and folded down inside of I don't know how to explain it, but it was, for some reason, I have a really clear picture in my head of it. The eyes weren't really black. They were really dark maroon. And
nice.
So before we have got a little time here, before we get off the show, I want to have our audience know where they can get your book, the name of it, and where they can get your book.
It's called Visitors from the Phenomenon, A Lifetime of Non-Human Contact, a lifetime of contact with a non-human intelligence. Sorry. It's on Amazon.
Okay.
And it's on Amazon Kindle too. And
okay.
Is there anything else you'd like to know?
Are you working any events or any place where you can sell books and sign books?
I sold some the other day when I was with Bill, and nope, I don't think I have. I think the next thing I'm going to is a swamp gas conference, because I'm making a poster for it like I did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
and that's in May, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really thought about selling anything there. I suppose I probably should.
Yeah, it's important. Your book, it's written for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's written to bring all of this to the surface. You've been through an awful lot. And if you don't share it, I think you came into this life to have these experiences and share this information to help others.
Yeah.
So it's important to have that book very available for people.
I think it's important for somebody else to look at it and see all that weird stuff all the stuff that kept me from saying anything because I thought that it wasn't associated with the UFOs and that it was my personal form of mental illness. And now I realize, oh, it's happening to everybody, all that strange paranormal stuff. And I think the biggest kick I've got out of it is I got to put a copy in the library where I grew up. And
nice.
I remember when I found that library, I was so excited because I loved to read. And I was like, here's a book to replace the one I lost when I was 7.
So if people wanted to contact you to talk to you about the book or about their experience, is there a way that they can contact you, or
they can write to me at Nancy's Dharma, which is NancysDharma, all lowercase, at Yahoo.
Okay.
Nancy's Dharma. Okay.
Nancy's Dharma. So feel free to contact her if you have a story or questions, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing this. I mean,
thanks for letting me spew.
Well, there's a whole lot more information.
Yeah.
I know I haven't even read your book, but through your regressions, I know there's a ton of stuff that could help others.
And there's a ton in the book, and there's a lot I didn't put in the book even.
So we'll be looking for the next book. Nancy's like, oh, Deb, shut up.
Right now I'm working on other things. But
okay. All right. Well, I hope that everything goes well for you, and we can have you back on again sometime to talk further about all of this.
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be fun.
Appreciate you sharing your story. It's very
important. Sorry that I start babbling.
Oh no, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we do here. We just spew truth. We want it out there.
Okay.
So bless you for doing it.
Yeah.
I really
Thank you for
appreciate
letting
it.
me talk about it.
Absolutely. You have a great week, and everybody listening,
all right,
have a wonderful week. And until we meet again,
all right,
may all of your awakenings be mystical.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Love you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.